Did you know that parents rank teaching financial literacy as the toughest life skill? That's where Greenlight comes in, the debit card and money app made for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and track spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn how to earn, save, and spend responsibly, while parents have peace of mind knowing smart money habits are being built with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery. That's greenlight.com/Wondery.
If you're shopping while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast, then you know and love the thrill of a deal. But are you getting the deal and cash back? Rakuten shoppers do. They get the brands they love, savings, and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Target, Sephora, and even Expedia. Stack sales on top of cash back and feel what it's like to know you're maximizing the savings. It's easy to use, and you get your cash back sent to you through PayPal or check. The idea is simple. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Download the free Rakuten app or go to Rakuten.com to start saving today. It's the most rewarding way to shop. That's RAKUTEN. Rakuten.com.
Episode 26 of The Messenger, the Rachel Cancer Scam. This is the second part of my interview with Mark. Interview 2. Again, it took place about 13 months or so after the interview at the beginning of this season. Couldn't pass up the opportunity to chat with him again, given how much was going on and just how much had happened during that time. These police reports and fake texts weren't really an issue over the summer of 2024. These were things that were all just in the works for the most part. Part of Rachel's scheme to have Mark back in prison, as it turns out. And what kind of person does this kind of thing? That's Rachel. So you're aware, this interview was conducted during a TikTok live event that I held over the summer. So you'll hear me reference questions that our viewers have, and I want that to make sense to you. So let's get to the second part of this interview with Mark now. Do you know that I listened to the first few minutes of that, and then I put it away for a year? You sent it to me like maybe beginning of April, like maybe April 1st or April 2nd or something like that. And I didn't listen to it until March of this year. It was so painful for me after what I had been through. Like, I thought that my healing in this was done. I thought, like, I'm good. You know what I mean? And then hearing her voice and hearing her talk about that, or hearing her talk about me, because I think there's conversation about me on that tape.
Well, there was. I mean, at the time, you and I were kind of at odds with each other.
Yeah.
And not so that we were like enemies, but that I think both of us were being misled to believe certain things from her. And so she was kind of playing us both against the middle.
I felt like, you know, the only reason I stayed after she was caught, after that phone call you made, was because there were parts of my story, according to her, that were true. Like she was being held prisoner, like she was an abused spouse, and women like me don't get out alive. And I thought, boy, I wonder if Mark really is that guy, because you and I had that conversation that day, and everything seemed, when I heard your voice the first time, I was blown away. I didn't know what to expect. I'd known of you since 2012 or before, and I thought you were an abuser. I was out for blood 10 years before that with you. And when I heard how calm you are and the kind of guy that you are, it completely threw me off base. I was off. It was like, wait a minute, the world is off its axis. Like with this, like when you called me and I jumped down your throat, and you were like, hold on, I'm not looking for any trouble. And you were like, let me send you a tape. Let me send you something. And you sent me that tape of Rachel coming in the door through the Ring camera the night before, and I thought she was in the hospital.
Right.
Dying, 66 pounds, paralyzed, and there she is walking in the front door with flowers from Russ. Like,
right.
Come on. Cut the shit. Like, am I being punked right now? And then from that point, you and I start exchanging all these text messages with pictures Like, here's Rachel, here are the rings. Here is the ultrasound. Here's the urn with the Never Baby's ashes in it.
Yeah.
I didn't bring a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, so we start doing that with each other. I found, and this just pisses me off, just for the purposes of discussion for those listening. There are a lot of things where there was crossover between Mark and I. Mark and Rachel were away. She was like inviting me on a trip. Like, you guys were on a trip to Oklahoma before I saw her in August of 21. You remember that?
I do.
She texted me from that trip. That's when we set up the trip to see each other in Santa Barbara on August 27th. She said, I took my daughter to Oklahoma, but she was with you. And then I met her in Santa Barbara on August 27th. The prior week was her birthday. You and Rachel were down the road from where I'm sitting right now here in Vegas.
Yep.
So she's talking to me while she's in Oklahoma with you, making arrangements. Then she gets home. She comes with you to Vegas. And then we're planning for me to go to Santa Barbara to meet her on the 27th. It's like she's so sick and so calculated what she did. She sent me a message later in 2021, a month later, September. You guys remember going to the Dave Matthews concert in Irvine?
Every year.
Right. She sent me a picture from the bathroom of her, like, you know, after a couple glasses of wine, saying, you know, having fun at Dave Matthews. I had fun with you in October. I'm here with a guy, but it's just a friend from work. And then, like, I look at it now. That's one of those things I look at and go, son of a bitch. You're out with him and you're texting me pictures. There's a picture that you sent me. I can't put it up now because it's not redacted. That same night, she posted a picture with my man at the Dave Matthews concert in Irvine, celebrating our love and our love of Dave.
Yeah.
And I just like those things. And then the other thing that Mark did is he sent me this grip, for lack of a better word, grip of text messages, 2.5 years of text messages between you and Rachel.
Oh, I thought I sent all of them to you.
No, I got 2.5 years. It's enough. No, fucking thank you.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Mark sends me 2.5 years of text messages. So part of me, and I have this friend who's got this brain and this ability to take things like that and then put them all together, and offered to put them all together and go, okay, we have messages starting on this date. We have messages ending on this date. Harry, give me access to your phone. Do the same thing with iMessage. I'm going to put them together. And you can look through and see, like when she was telling you that she was having surgery or that she was doing this or she was doing that. One of them, I'll give you one example, is that you and Rachel went on an anniversary trip. May 5th is the day that she had her brain surgery where she lost all of her memory. And like a night or two before that was the night she went out with a bunch of people from work, and she had alleged that a man at work had roofied her and committed an SA. And then the 6th and the 7th, she texted one of the girls we know at work, and she said she was attacked and she's at the hospital. Mark, the day she texted her girlfriend at work and said, I'm in the hospital because of this SA, the two of you were on your trip.
She's a very calculated individual. I don't know what else to say.
Listen, here's what's important to say. You have a new woman in your life.
I do. I'm holding her hand right now.
I'm sure she's looking at you, squeezing your hand, going, next time I see Harry, I'm going to knee him right in the nuts for doing this to you. I'm going to just knee him right in the nuts. So we are in court, all of us. This was the day that I saw Rachel. This was on the 5th of August. Sure enough, we go downstairs, and as we're walking into the courtroom, walking down the hall towards us are Russ and Rachel. I'd never seen Russ in person. You had the pleasure of seeing him in person. He said sarcastically. And they're walking down the hall. They're walking down the hall, and I make eye contact with Russ, and I'm like, I'm like, oh, it's you. But then I look down. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I look down at Rachel, and I am staring into the eyes of the devil. I swear to God, like when I was looking at her on the tape that you made with Rachel, the two of you are talking at the beginning, and she is in full boo-hoo mode. Oh, yeah. She is like, nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. You should take the girls. She does this whole thing. And you, by the way, folks, this is March. This is the end of March. This is right the night after she threw herself, or 2 nights after she threw herself on the floor in front of him. She is doing this with you, and you said to her, everyone's going to hear this, you said, Rachel, we all love you. Nobody hates you. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I want to encourage you to follow our social media. I'd recommend you follow Instagram. In the show notes, you'll find a link to all of them. There's a lot more information and backup for what I'm discussing. Much of the evidence that I reference in these episodes here, you'll find there. You'll see screenshots, additional commentary in the way of videos. I also want to encourage you to comment and send along a DM if you've got questions. I answer everything that comes my way. Also, please take a moment to rate the podcast here. Leave a review if you're so inclined. Thanks for following. And this episode will continue after this message. You can win the girls back in your favor. There's nothing here that can't be fixed. Your family, Sherry loves you. Your nieces love you. My family, you know what I mean? Like you were saying to her, this is heartbreaking for me. You were saying to her, we can fix this. It's not too broken. Mark, 10 affairs, guys with fake pregnancy and cancer. And she was married to Brian for 3 of your years of marriage. And there you are saying, we can fix this. We can fix it. And
well, in that moment, though, I'm also thinking about my girls. I'm thinking about how it's going to affect them. You know, I did not want to disrupt their lives. I didn't, you know, I was willing to do whatever it took to make sure that they never had to go through what I did as a child of divorce. And I think for those reasons is why I was willing to do, you know, whatever I could to try and smooth things over, or at least bring it to light so that it could be dealt with. But she buries everything. And she's just always going to be a toxic person because she buries everything and doesn't admit to anything. And that's disappointing, but that's not something I can fix.
Yeah.
You know, we went through therapy, and I offered to send her to rehab, and, you know, I was willing to do whatever I could to try and get her mind right. But you can't fix somebody's mind unless they're willing or amendable to trying to work on it themselves. And she's just not that person. She's never going to change.
The narcissist is not that person, right? The point in this with Rachel saying to you, nobody loves me, everyone hates me, and you saying, let's try to fix this for the sake of the kids. Narcissists don't ever get help. We know that. They just don't. You can't study them because they'll never talk.
Right.
She's essentially, after that, she's begging you to stay. She's telling you, take the girls. She's just like grasping. And then that tape is made on the 30th of March. On the 13th of April, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on the 13th of April, Rachel turned around and went to Atascadero PD or family court or wherever she went, and she got a restraining order saying Mark was abusive. And that's when she was building this case on you the entire time. Right. That's the sickening thing in this all. She's begging you to reconsider. You told her, by the way, in fairness, at one point you found out she was still seeing Russ and you said you were done. Fuck it. I'm done. And then she went and got the restraining order. Then she said, plan B.
Right.
Plan B. We go plan B, everybody. All right, let's take some questions. There are some easy questions to answer. Rachel has 3 of the girls. The daughter formerly known as Madison, who is 19, or is she 20 yet?
20. She's 20.
She's 20. She is in college. She's been impacted by this greatly. She follows along here. You'll never find her. I'm not, maybe we get to bring her on with her voice at some point because she went on the podcast. But she's got a man in her life, and she's on a healthy path right now. But she stayed by your side, and she had incredible anxiety. She went through the ringer with Rachel, right?
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So
This has far-reaching effects beyond what we see today. I mean, it's something that she's probably going to have to work through for years. I can only imagine.
The other girls, Mark, I mean, they're in Rachel's camp, and I know you can't really discuss this, and I don't want you to because of the restraint. I don't even want you communicating to them here.
I don't.
And you got to wonder at some point, will they realize what their mother is? I mean, this podcast is everywhere. And I've made a very big deal. If you're a parent, I know there are a number of people here from San Luis Obispo. If you're a parent of kids that are in the schools up there, you tell your kids to mind their business and not to talk. I've said this, and I continue to say it. Leave their kids alone. They're innocent in this. Rachel has the 3 minor children in a home with Russ. That's where they are. Let me run through some questions for you, Mark. Zombie Girl, who works for the Bureau, has seen the worst of the worst. She's seen awful things. She's been a follower from the beginning. Poor Mark is still wearing an ankle bracelet, an ankle monitor. And that, I mean, that's got to get lifted. That's got to get done. That's got to get done.
That's about the most ridiculous thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah. Crazy. Based on the acid attack, based on the text messages, based on the other nonsense that she created. So What says, sounds like the making of a movie. I do want to tell you this for those of you that are just joining right now. I got a little bit of exciting news today. And, this has been a he said, she said story as far as me telling my story. And I've made it clear that, in a way I want to be done telling the Rachel cancer scam story. And I want to spend as much time as I can advocating for Mark and advocating for the daughter formerly known as Madison. And, Sherry, right? Rachel's sister, and your brother and your mother and people that were impacted by Rachel. The tentacles that this thing has, it's so far reaching. Did I tell you the story about Sherry in the salon a month ago?
Sherry told me.
Okay. So for those of you that are listening that haven't heard the story, Rachel's sister Sherry, who she killed off, on the podcast, you heard about it in episode 2 in the car crash. Well, Sherry's still very much alive, and she was getting her hair done, getting her nails done, and the girls in the salon in Houston were talking about Netflix shows that were podcasts, Dirty John and other shows, and she's listening to this. No, this is not a Netflix series, not yet, but they're talking about this podcast, and Sherry said, "I'm the dead sister." She had to go through our text messages and say, Harry and I, we text. He sends me videos. If he's mentioning me in a video, he will send it to me first.
I talked to her one day and I'm all, "That's cool. You're famous now, Sherry."
Not the way she wanted to be famous, and
Right.
Not the way anybody wanted to be famous. The only one really who I'm so glad has achieved the fame that she wanted is...
That would be Rachel herself.
What we got from Mark during our second interview was just so much, even after he learned that Rachel had cheated repeatedly over the course of their marriage. Not to mention that she was married to another guy for 3 years at that time. He was thinking only about his girls. Not about himself, not about anything else, but just about his family and keeping them together. It was a selfless act for so many reasons. I want to thank Mark for taking the time to join us again. And we'll be back with another episode of the Rachel Cancer Scam soon.